or association with real self or the truth. And it has the three steps: listening, learning, contemplation, reflection, and followed by the practice. So, what our masters are saying, that consistent listening, learning, contemplation, reflection, and practice, and then change of experience, you will find a sense of detachment.
Yeah.
And the detachment results into freedom from delusion. Freedom from delusion leads to a natural steadiness of the mind inside. Your level of self awareness goes up, and then your mind is not seeking the pleasure outside. That brings the natural steadiness of the mind. So that natural steadiness of the mind lives within, gets absorbed in deeper meditation, leads to awakening.
Yeah.
That is the power of. So, what we have been doing in our life, imagine, imagine trying to change your hairstyle. Oh, you don't have hairs. We both have full moon. So, anyhow, but take that example or a metaphor. Imagine trying to change your hairstyle by bending the mirror. You are changing your face. Don't take hairstyle. So, you are changing your face by bending the mirror. It is an act of the foolish mind. Tries to change the life by rearranging the situation, relations, and people outside. No, it will never happen. This is but we don't understand. It took you 5 years to reach to that stage.
But 5 years is not a long time.
No, definitely it is not a long time. Not a long time. Normally, it takes about 12 years to reach to the higher state. But it doesn't mean, it is not a rule. Shankaracharya at the age of 12 reached to that state. Vivekananda reached within 2 years, and other masters. It all depends on our intensity. So I want to change my face appearance by bending the mirror. But face is here. In the image, you see the reflection. How much you change the reflection, it is not going to work. But we claim that reflection is real. That is what is happening. My dad, my mom, my honey, my situation, my bank balance. One guy who attends the session from Austria in Europe, he says, because of these Russia and Ukraine war, my money, my bank account is getting exhausted. Oh, are you thinking of stop paying me? No, 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 I'm not thinking like that. I cannot do that. I have to be with you. But so you see, I gave the same example. You have a hairstyle bending the mirror. Will it help you? So, what is the message hidden in it? That I have to change within. I have not to change the world outside. If
Yeah.
I change the world outside, it is not going to help me. The true change starts from within. And that is why the Master says satsang, listening, learning, contemplation, reflection. You have to tend to the roots. You have to tend to the roots. The roots represent your thoughts, belief, and values. It is hidden beneath the surface, like electric current is hidden beneath the lamp and the fan and the AC. The branches are our actions, circumstances, and relationships. So I have to change myself within. The healthy branches depend on healthy roots. Outer success and peace depends on inner state, inner self. I recognize the inner self. I know happiness is there. There is. Outer situation may be challenging. Calmness is maintained. Nothing is impacted. Nothing is impacted. That is the journey of Eastern wisdom. So I have to attend to my inner world. Growth becomes self sustaining and peaceful. What is happening? AI, web camera, I don't know.
He keeps going back and forth.
I have to check after the session. Anyhow,
That's okay.
lasting happiness flows from within. So before pruning the branches, before getting attached to outer situation, relations, I have to look inside me. Now see, take this metaphor, tend the roots and the branches will bloom. Tend the roots. The root is your thought, feeling, emotions, belief, values. What you transform a reactive and distracted mind into a discerning intellect. Why? Blaming circumstances keeps you stuck. Changing perception changes your experience. Changing perception changes your experience. She is my mom like perception. She is very beautiful. You see, experience changes.
Yeah.
How? I told you listening, learning, contemplation, reflection, practice, and experience. So, what happens? You hear and absorb the wisdom. You have to repeat listening, understanding, reflect. I coach a lot of people in a private lesson, in a group lesson. So my intellect says, in what other way, in a fresh way, I should take up this subject. And the more I take up in a fresh way, it reveals, the knowledge reveals in me. And that again helps me to find out what is the exact truth. What is the truth? Now it will not happen.
What do you mean, like, take it up in a fresh way?
Yes, that's a good question. I talk about the default mind.
Yeah.
So, another way to explain it is the deluded mind. Another way to explain it is a casual mind, casual approach. Another way to explain the mind, impure mind. So you see, there are 5 different approaches to the same subject. So, what is going to happen when you are listening and learning, contemplating and reflecting the way you have sent the message? You will find a new way. it triggers you. You live in a heightened state of awareness, and in that awareness, you find, oh my goodness, I found it. That is what the. So I always see that in the what is the fresh way. Your mind can be a storm or the lighthouse. It is your choice. So it is always a lighthouse. I see in
Yeah.
what other way I should infuse this wisdom in the heart and the head of the people. So that is where the seeker finds the result. I've been talking about how many times last week you have been into anxiety, stress. How many times?
I don't know. It happens.
It happens. Now see why it happens. Understand totally in a fresh way.
Yeah.
Inherent desire versus the daily reality. Oh, what did you say? Inherent desire. What is the desire of all the desires? Desire of all the desires is peace, happiness, love, and wisdom.
Yeah.
Human beings possess a very deep innate longing, which is the search for permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. But what is the daily reality? I get attached to something to seek a pleasure, and then I get frustrated. Oh, imagine a child we are wanting to feel completely safe and loved. As an adult, this remains a core desire, even though situations, circumstances, relations change. As a child, wanting to feel completely safe and loved. How? In the lap of the mom. As I grew older in the toys, as I grew older in the storybooks, as I become adolescence in hormonal changes in sensuality, then in the education, in the career, in the marriage, I'm still searching permanent peace and happiness, which I started as a child.
Mhm.
So when you reflect on this, I'm still searching peace and happiness. So I analyze and reflect, oh, I'm seeking it outside. That is the problem. Mind, whenever you go outside, let me check. Are you searching peace and happiness? No, it is not there. We have tried hundred of ways. It is not there. But if it is there, I entered into mental and emotional turmoil every time I went outside in search of peace and happiness. Oh, so it means what I have to think. The moment the mind starts thinking I will get the pleasure outside, I change the direction of the mind by the thinking,
Mm.
by contemplation, by reflection, or just asking, playing with your mind. Is this girl has a property of happiness? Is the bank account contain the property of happiness? Is this situation contain the property of happiness? No, everyone is changing. Where there is a change, there cannot be permanent peace and happiness. Finished. So, what I'm doing, I'm not searching it outside. So, the moment you keep on searching outside, it enters into a conflict, and that is what we find our level of anxiety, reaction, duality, and a fear enters into our life almost every day.
Because even when we think it comes from the outside, that feeling of happiness is within us.
It is
I'm
within us.
I'm creating that. It's not the actual outside thing.
Yes, that is what the Eastern wisdom clearly says, that happiness is not outside. Happiness is not outside. innate desire is pure and timeless, while daily reality is shaped by situation, our thoughts towards that situation, relations, and people. So if you keep them aside, empty the mind, you recognize there is a misidentification with the situation, with the relationship, and that causes the problem. That causes the problem. So I have to reflect on it. I recognize that anxiety and reactions are surface phenomena. It is in relationship to the world outside. The
Yeah.
moment you have that awareness, you find that anxiety is already gone. That anxiety is already gone. So now we go little deeper and we find out from where this anxiety, what is the root is. Root is the default mind. I gave an example. It's a default mind. It is an impure mind. It is a deluded mind. It is casual mind. Casual mind is lacks awareness. Casual mind switches on the TV. Oh, this actress is very good. Let me watch it. And you are absorbed into the pleasure. Casual mind. So default mind is identified as a root mechanism behind repeated suffering by operating in a reactive, habitual, unconscious mode. Default mind acts impulsively and is habitually reactive. It is plagued by delusion, anxiety, and fear. It produces thoughts and emotions rapidly and without conscious control, causing confusion and unrest. That is the role of the default mind. And what happens when the moment the default mind takes over by flooding, reaction, anxiety, duality, seeking pleasure, with a constant flux of thought, feeling, and emotions, each changing moment depending on outer stimuli. I'm suffering, I have anxiety, I have fear, I have duality, I have confusion. So
Yeah.
it means if I change the default mind setting, how? By discernment, by the principles of Eastern wisdom. Otherwise, the suffering becomes severe when a person identifies with these fleeting mental states. When these thoughts and feeling arise, identification. Why identification? Because I am attached to outside. And expectation is the child of attachment. So hence there is a delusion, and the delusion causes the projection, and the projection is like a mirror as water, and then I am suffering.
Yeah.
The identification creates a chain reaction. Chain reaction. Where is the reflection point here? Breaking free from the default mind requires discernment, cultivating awareness, recognizing thoughts as temporary, deliberately choosing not to identify with their negative flow. You have an anxiety. When you say simply, oh, this is a anxiety, no, this is a thought of anxiety, and the thought is not me. Finished. I'm not a thought. Without thought, you cannot recognize anxiety.
Yeah.
But then what happens because of the external projection, the default mind takes over you, dominates you, and then you find you are already caught in the projection. You have a moment of anxiety because And the mind then keeps looking outside, creates and sustains the default mind, impulsive, anxious, always dependent on external circumstances for happiness, and we get a trap. And once you are caught into the trap, you find this is also known as a cognitive mistake. We say cognitive understanding. Willfully, I'm committing a mistake, and that I don't recognize. Why I don't recognize? Because I am not aware of what is happening to me. Then there is another level of frustration. What is another level of frustration? Why the happiness never stayed? I saw the cute and beautiful girl. I had a lunch, and still my happiness does not stay. It lived hardly for 1 or 2 hours. And now I am frustrated because the happiness doesn't stay. No matter how much we chase on outside. So I am not cultivating my awareness. It is like I am trying to catch my own reflection in a mirror. I claim that reflection in the mirror is the real, no matter how fast you run, it always stays just out of reach. This is the work of the default mind. Picture a thirsty person running after a mirage in a desert, convinced water is just a little farther ahead. Each step, the next possession, next praise, next relationship seems promising. I'm single, if I get married, I'll be happy. So after a few years, if I divorce, I'll be happy. After a few years, if I remarry, I'll be happy. So each step, the next possession, next relationship, next appreciation seems promising, but every step vanishes into the sand and the thirst returns stronger than before.
Yeah.
What is this message? The message of the Eastern wisdom is that the default, it is your own mind tricks you. And you don't understand. You claim that it is the situation, it is the relationship, it is the person outside has tricked you, has given you the unhappiness.
Hmm.
uh, the cycle repeats itself, keeps on repeating. And I'm just, getting caught into that. And when you're caught into that, there is a never ending chase of happiness in the world outside. My mind never, that default mind, don't allow you to think that the happiness is not outside, it lies within. So the master says, I have to ask myself, am I chasing a mirage? What peace is already present within me right now? Happiness is within me right now. Can I explore that? My mind says, no, that situation, that relationship, that person. Mind, hold on. Leave everything. Look inside. You are already calm. So again, I'm repeating based on the message that you sent me. Listening and learning is important. Repeat listening and learning, contemplation and reflection, and then practice and experience. Ultimate goal is to find that permanent happiness within me. Now see, Master in the beginning they talk about the default mind, and then when you rise, you become a seeker, you are a seeker, then the master says mind is not a problem. It is the content of the mind is the problem.
Yeah.
The way the mind thinks, speaks, acts in identification with the world outside is the problem. So the content of the mind is the problem. Mind is not the problem. The real problem is identification. Oh, so the moment you drop the identification, that is the discerning intellect. You have a cognitive understanding, then there is a cognitive change.
Yeah.
Cognitive change. And that is, so whatever masters are teaching, we should not have a casual approach in life. The moment you wake up in the morning, and it is the casual mind. Casual mind says, today I will not do the practice. Discerning, committed approach. Committed mind. Committed mind says, no, I will definitely do the practice. Come what may. No, but I will not succeed. Okay, let me not succeed. I will do it. You insist. What point I am making? I am making a point that casual approach of the mind or casual mind lacks seriousness or intent, governed by the habitual pleasure, past memories, seeking convenience. This results in stagnation and lack of real transformation.
Mm.
I never missed a lesson during the last many years with you. Why? It is not a casual approach.
No.
It is a committed approach. So the casual approach will say, no, let us relax, let us watch TV, and after an hour I will do the practice. No, first I will do the practice and then I will listen to it. What is the message here? Are you getting it? The spiritual practices demands a deliberate effort, a little discomfort of the casual mind. Default mind says, no, let us relax, you have just returned from the work. No, first I will do the practice. Committed approach means you have to exercise deliberate, a little more than required effort. When? Every day.
I think that's like what separates being good and great, though. I think it's doing the extra, like whatever you want to get good at. And I'm very structured in that way and disciplined in that way, and like just almost sometimes you gotta force yourself to just
Yes.
to do the right thing.
If you don't do it, so that is known as the committed mind, committed approach.
Yeah.
Casual approach, committed approach. Casual approach, committed approach. The moment you have a casual approach, that leads to anxiety, duality, conflict, and habitual thoughts and feeling coming from the past memories.
Yeah.
That is why I'm asking you how many times you go into anxiety, reaction, fear last week. So it means in those moments you had the casual approach. You did not have the committed approach, and that is why this problem is there. Or you can say it is the struggle between the default mind or the discerning intellect. The default mind acts out of habit, searching for pleasure, ease, comfort. Discerning mind takes charge with an intent, like making meticulous preparation for what? At every moment. I have to live with the discerning intellect. And then you
When you
rise
ask
above.
me if you when you ask me like if I've fallen into anxiety or depression the past week, sometimes so you're not asking me because sometimes I have negative or anxious thoughts, but then
Casual
it's
approach,
just a
casual mind, default mind.
is that the same though as being anxious if just a thought comes in?
Yeah, it is the casual mind, it is the default mind.
Okay.
And you did not apply the discerning intellect. What is casual means basically? It means informal, it also means unplanned, it means it lacks effort. Now go opposite. Discerning intellect, it is formal, it is serious, it is regular, it is deliberate. Casual is informed, unplanned. So anxiety enters into my life unplanned.
Yeah.
So a casual seeker misses commitment. And that is why I'm asking you how many times. So
Huh.
that I can understand that yes, you are really another level of a seeker. I ask indirectly. A casual seeker misses commitment, regularity, and sincerity. Motivation is surface level and easily distracted at those moments when you have the anxiety and reaction. Committed approach, deliberate conscious effort. Deliberate conscious effort. Movement from the default to discernment. And I tell you, my friend, every step counts.
Yeah.
Every step counts. The power of little effort. Each small, intentional act from the discerning intellect counts.
Like everything matters.
You have to choose between the intent over the impulse. Intent, discerning intellect, over the impulse, default mind.
Yeah, I think that you could use that in every aspect of your life. If you have fruit in front of you or if you have a milkshake in front of you, the default mind always wants to go to the junk.
Go
But
to, yes.
the right thing to do is the fruit.
Right, yes, it is the fruit. So it demands a little effort. So you deliberately choose the fruits. What happens then? You are breaking the habit.
See, like I'm very like people always ask because I'm very healthy with my diet, and people always ask me like, well, does it ever get easier? And then I think it does. So like if I choose to always meditate and then not watch TV, at some point the default mind is actually going to default to meditation. And it's going to actually want to meditate. But I think a lot of people, like if we were going to, metaphorically speaking, that tried to start dieting, they think it's always going to be hard. But I don't believe that's the case. I think over time, you will actually choose the fruit.
So what exactly happens? You are rightly. So you are making a conscious, concerted effort consciously by the discerning intellect because the default mind as such does not exist. It always exists in delusion. Now it is replaced by the discerning intellect. Now the discerning intellect becomes your default mind. So you are very at ease. You have no
Yeah.
problem at all. Modern science also says the neuroplasticity, that is where they give some idea of neuroplasticity, shows that the deliberate, repeated effort rewires the brain for new habits and deeper focus, intention over the impulse that we have been talking for the last 10,000 years. So now you are becoming clear. The characteristics of the default mind is the inherent desire What are the characteristics of the default mind? Impulsive nature, casualness. Okay, whatever the thought comes and I go by that thought, I don't see the relevance of it. I don't see whether it is right, good, or proper. I don't make a choice. I get carried away by them. So when I get carried away by them, it means that I have some expectations from the world outside. And that expectation is a child of the attachment. Then I get identified with the attachment, delusion comes, and I find myself in the problem,
Yeah.
myself in the problem. So we have to contemplate and reflect on the default mind to help live in peace and happiness. Default mind, I told you, impulsive, reactive, full of delusion, anxiety, and fear. The moment you have anxiety, fear, delusion, it is the default mind. And it constantly changes every second and every moment. When active, it is characterized by frequent thoughts, feelings, and emotions of anxiety, fear, reaction, blame, and complaint. One of the most interesting things of the default mind is that it has the power to take over the individual. It takes
Yeah.
over the individual. Then you rationalize. Oh my dad, you became angry, that's why I'm upset. The default mind is created by the continuous projection of peace and happiness outside. Then only you have anxiety, otherwise there is no chance. And how it prevents achieving the permanent happiness, the purpose? How it prevents? Because it creates a wall, uh, it creates a veil. Now I told you last time, and did I tell you? The shining floor and the dirt and the dust is deposited there. That dirt and dust is deposited and it prevents you to move into the permanent peace and happiness.
Yeah.
Go a little deeper. What is the role of projection? So the role of problem of projection and delusion, it is not the mind itself. Projection is defined as mistaking as inner reality for a search of peace and happiness outside.
That's projection.
That is projection.
Yeah.
Projection, I am projecting happiness outside. That is where? In a person, in a situation, in a relationship. So my mind is totally blind. Now I am not able to see anything. I have amplified. Oh, this girl full of happiness, this situation. Projection leading to suffering. What is that suffering? Anxiety, duality, conflict, fear, etc., etc., etc. Think, think. When you more and more you think, you will find, oh, you become clear. And when you become clear, clarity means the cognitive understanding. Cognitive understanding means cognitive change. Cognitive change means, yeah, ABC. Change, cognitive change means ABC. What is ABC? Attitude, behavior, and conduct. So your attitude, behavior, and conduct changes in your thinking, in your speaking, in your action.
Yeah.
So when there is a cognitive change in your attitude, behavior, and conduct, expressed by the thought, speech, and action, by the discerning intellect, you are already free from anxiety, fear, and duality. That is what our great master, I told you, he lived only until the age of 32 years.
What happened?
He wrote more than 200 books. He traveled across India. and he was adjudged as one of the greatest masters ever lived in that contemporary period. And he lived just hardly 1200 years ago. So he wrote that text. That is what we are studying, and that is the conclusion of the first text. Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam. Recognize and realize that real self is of the nature of peace and happiness is within me. Now you see that in a poetic form. And then he says, "Oh foolish mind, are you going outside? And if you are going outside, you are projecting. How many projections you have? Only 100 projections today, 90 projections day before yesterday, 1000 projections last week. So I live with 1000 projections. The mind has created a hamster wheel." What the master is saying, not only you die while living, but when at the time of the death, you will still say that, "Oh, I should have done this for my peace and happiness." And still the mind is projecting happiness outside at the time of the death. So this master, what master says in a different way, what it says, "Moodhamate bhaj govindam, govindam bhaj moodhamate, san prapte sannahite kale, nahi rakshati dukkrana karne." First point, turn the mind within. It means I should shun, I should reject the casual approach. I have to look within to recognize the real self is within me. Second mind, foolish mind always looks, moves, perceives, and projects outside for happiness. It is the mind not able to find the reality. But when you have a thought with an intent that the real self is within you, of the nature of peace and happiness, even you have not found it, it drops the foolish mind. But if you do not drop the foolish mind, then what happens? When the mind jumps in delusion from one object to the second to the third and so on every day, creates hamster wheel running around circle for happiness, like single, then married, then divorced. What I'm searching happiness. Oh, did you search happiness in the marriage? It is not there. Happiness is not the property of marriage. Happiness also is not the property of divorce. Happiness is also not the property of being single. You are single, that's why I added this. So it means, I have already created 3 points in the hamster wheel: single, married, divorced, searching for happiness outside. You have a problem.
People always ask me why I'm still single, and I say, well, I'm happy. But they think that when I say I'm happy, it's because I'm happy being single. But that's not even what I mean. I'd be happy being single. I'd be happy being in a relationship. So I just tell them I'm happy, and then they don't say anything else.
Yeah, that's really another good. If someone asks me, fortunately or unfortunately, I'm married. But if someone asks me, "Oh, are you still single? Or did you have any girl in your mind? Can you introduce me?" Introduce me. Is it related to? Is she related to you? They will never ask you. So you are asking with an intent. It is their casual mind. It is their default mind is asking.
It is almost their projection.
Yes, it is their projection. So we need not to worry.
Yeah.
So pay a little more attention to the word moodhamate. Moodhamate means the foolish mind. Foolish mind, pointing out the repetitive error of chasing externals. That means foolish, ignorant. confused. It also represents, the foolish mind also represents the dullness, lethargic state of the mind. In that lethargic state of the mind, you start projecting peace and happiness outside, and then you get trapped by the default mind. The default mind is dull, heavy, sleepy, often described as a donkey mind in yoga. It's a slow witted and lethargic mind with a poor sense of focus and a tendency to sadness or depression unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still single, that guy was asking me. No, that is not good thing. And then you start searching for someone and then you get frustrated. You see the hamster wheel?
Yeah.
Mudha means those lacking discernment. Foolishness also means those lacking a choice. You don't have a choice except anxiety. You don't have a choice except fear. You don't have a choice except frustration. Why? It is the dirt and dust over the shiny floor,
Yeah.
which I claim is me. No, you are not. Buddha gives another beautiful definition. Buddha says the foolish mind is that mind which cannot comprehend the reality, which lacks the common sense towards the reality.
Hmm. So true.
So then what happens with the first verse? We are still talking of the first verse. So what happens with that foolishness? Someone who keeps making the same mistakes in relationship, unable to recognize. I'm not talking about you. Someone who keeps making, someone who make the same mistake in relationship, unable to recognize repeating harmful pattern, is acting from the foolish state of the mind, ignoring
Yeah.
serious warnings or engaging in a reckless acts. Foolish mind. A person who refuses feedback and continuous self-destructive habit. Foolish
Hmm.
mind. Like drinking despite knowing the risk.
Drinking alcohol?
Yeah, anything. Lethargy and heaviness is the first attribute.
So what?
Significant of the foolish mind.
Oh.
Significant lack of energy and dynamism, making the mind slow and sleepy. Poor focus and clarity. Difficulty in concentrating leading to clouded perception. Apathy and depression. Tendency towards sadness, hopelessness, lack of motivation, feeling stuck. Ignorance and confusion. Procrastination and laziness. Attachment to the worldly comforts.
This is
Repetition.
all the foolish mind.
All foolish mind. Repetition of mistake. Unable to learn from impulsiveness and emotional instability. Fixed mindset and arrogance. Sometimes we have an arrogance also in the foolish mind. So the first line of this poem, beautiful poem, Bhaj Govindam, literal meaning of the Bhaj Govindam, you can say the pray or meditate on the real self or the God, but the essence is that turn your mind to the real self. Imagine you're searching your high and low for a flashlight during a power outage. You are frantic, bumping into the furniture until suddenly you realize the flashlight was in your hand all along. That is the problem. Maybe for decades, maybe happiness felt like that flashlight, always outside, always just ahead. What if the happiness isn't elsewhere but here? That is the meaning of turning your mind within. I have to recognize, pause, stop, mind, where are you going? What the heck you are doing? You are going on a situation, are you thinking of a situation and getting into anxiety and fear? Drop it. In possession, drop it. In relations, drop it. Let me see. I have to make a deliberate effort to make this happen. Otherwise, the default mind, casual mind, impure mind will take over.
Yeah.
Let us ask few questions for contemplation. Where should happiness be sought? So I remember all the time. Why you forget it? Because of the default mind. Whether during the day you are in anxiety, so you feel little bit unfocused, and then you say, oh, I'm not getting that happiness. He's not doing the work the way he should have done. He should have been made me happy. No, not outside in possession or situation or role, but in what? What is the mistake of the mind? It habitually projects joy into the external objects. I have to recognize that. Mind, you are projecting happiness there in a person. Oh, because your expectations are not met, and that is why you are into anxiety. You cannot say anything to your brother or to your dad. Ah, Dad, be happy. Everyone should be happy. I'm also happy. Achievements and accumulations dissolve. Achievements and accumulations has no value. It does not contain the property of happiness. Only I, real self, can help you find that happiness in you. Nothing else. Nothing else. So that is why the master says, I have to I have to understand. And that is why I created an acronym break for the first verse. Behold. Remember, don't forget, the moment you have anxiety, break. Behold. I am of the nature of real self, of the nature of peace and happiness. I am not a situation, relationship, etc., etc. Behold, or recognize. So recognize the foolish mind. You cause me the anxiety, fear. Where is the foolishness you are causing? Where is the recognition? E. And see the futility of this projection. You end it. What expectation or habit can I drop right now? Behold, who am I beneath my habit and anxiety? B. Behold. Is this pattern helping me? I recognize it. No. Drop it. And E. What expectation or habit can I drop right now? And we are E. A. Awaken, engage the intellect. Now you cultivated self-awareness. Does this make me wiser or just busier? A busier, return again to the B. K. Keep returning. What keep returning? how quickly do I come back to what matters when I notice I have wandered. That
Mm.
is the key word, and you are free.
Yeah.
You see that. Does this make me wiser? A. That is the awakening. That is the awakening in the beginning. And you and what expectation or habit can I drop now? Because I have recognized my projection. How I recognize my projection? By R. Is this pattern helping me? No, just making me more anxious? Yes. So it is the work of the default mind. I'm not helping you. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So it has to be done in the mind itself. Who am I beneath my habit and anxiety? Who am I beneath my my, or you can say beneath the default mind, beneath the dirt and the dust. And when you recognize it, you have already done it. You have done the break. So you remember the break, never forget this break. Behold the real self. Means what? You clean the floor, you witness the shine.
Mm.
You remember. It is sorry. It is happening in the. It is happening in the mind itself. It is happening in the mind itself. Behold.
Yeah.
And once you recognize this break pattern, BREAK. For baby boomers, I have created another acronym. We will talk about it later. My mind says there is an unchanging real self is always present. Anxiety is incidental, fear is incidental, temporary, it comes, it goes. Why to worry? When you have a fear, thank you, mind, you you are experiencing fear, but this fear is incidental. This is temporary. It has come, it will go.
Yeah.
My master used to say beautifully, O mind, be at peace, this will also pass.
Yeah.
So he used to say that just sit with eyes closed. Any thought comes, be mind, be at peace, this thought will also pass. Be mind, O mind, be at peace, this fear will also pass. O mind, this anxiety will also pass. Be at peace. Finished.